Hi, I'm the Beauty Professor, and you can find my beauty blog at www.beautyprofessor.net. So I'm currently traveling, and I thought it would be an excellent opportunity to go over a quick makeup tutorial. I really had to be judicious about the makeup that I chose to bring on this trip because I did a carry-on bag only. And that's its own kind of inordinate challenge. But in the interim, I'm really pleased with the makeup that I selected, and I'm going to go over how I use it collectively to create a great everyday daytime look for a vacation. I'm in Lake Tahoe currently. The weather is brisk. There's actually a little bit of snow on the ground, and for early fall, that's exceptional. So I'm going for just a very clean, simple look. That's definitely not a departure from my normal look, and I'm using a select amount of products that I guess I would definitely deem my favorite because they were the ones that made the cut when I had such a limited amount of packing space. All that's on my face right now is a base of skincare, which in this case comes in the form of the Kanebo Sensai Cellular Performance Wrinkle Repair Cream, which I just recently bought a full size of. It was definitely an investment, but I have been running through my samples for months now and can attest to the powers of this particular cream. I use it day and night, and I just put a quick layer of that all over my face for moisture and obviously age combating elements. Then I followed up with a little dot of the Cellular Performance Wrinkle Repair Eye Cream by Kanebo Sensai right in the corners of my eye, underneath and across my orbital area, and I followed that with a single pump of the Metier de Beaute Peau Vierge, which I've mentioned countless times in videos and blog posts. It's a non-negotiable step in my routine. I'm wearing it in shade 2, and this is just a travel size that I acquired at some point in time. I take it when I know I'm not going to be gone for a long time. In this case, it's a couple-day trip, so this is all I needed, and it fit perfectly in my bag. On a side note, I'm happy to announce that Le Metier de Beaute is releasing a 2-ounce version of Peau Vierge. I just heard that from my dear friend Mikey Castillo a couple of weeks ago, and for those of us who use this product regularly, it will come at a savings. So essentially, you'll get twice the amount of the normal 1-ounce bottle for $50 more, and the single bottle sells for $125. So clearly, this is a cost-effective move for those of you who adore Peau Vierge as much as I do. On to foundation. So I'm using 2 products in tandem, and this was the result of an experiment I tried a couple of days ago, and I've been really happy with the overall formula. I'll be working with the Ardency Americana Custom Coverage Concentrate, which I've mentioned in previous videos. I'm using light medium olive, which is a perfect match for my NC 25 or so skin right now. And because it's a concentrate, it's not intended to be worn at full power, so you must cut it with something else if you want a natural finish. In this case, I am mixing it with the By Terry Sheer Expert in number 7. Sheer Expert, as the name would imply, is quite sheer, and when I combine this product with this product, I get what feels like currently a perfect base for my face. So I'll show you how I do this now. Just going to shake this tube up and put a dollop on my hand, just like that. This is number 7, Vanilla Beige, which is my match for a lot of the fall and winter months, post-summer, once my skin is faded from any kind of accidental tan. So there it is, and then I'm just going to put a pump of the custom coverage in the light medium olive. I will spritz my beauty blender. And now I shall mix. Try to do this in the frame of the camera. Just kind of pressing it together so that both formulas meld seamlessly. You can see it's already becoming a single product here. Perfect match. And then I'm going to just buff it onto my face. Starting here, forehead and cheeks. And I like to get a nice even distribution of the mixture I've made before I start doing an authentic buff. And I have a little backup here should I need to go over any areas requiring additional coverage. So I'll get close and just buff this in. I apologize, the air conditioner in this room is automatic. It just kicks on at will. I have no control over it at this moment, so I hope it's not interfering with the sound of this video. And just try to kick on. All right. can see that it's lovely skin-like finish. It's matching this part of my body nicely, so the shade is spot on. And you can take any residual you have and just concentrate in the under eye area, have it act almost like a concealer. I'll just be putting a very light concealer over this area. Because I've focused on the under eye with this particular mixture, I don't need much at that point. All right, extremely seamless, even face. This is with no concealer whatsoever, just a single coating of the combination, as I've mentioned, which would be these two products. Now, for contour, I am relying upon my trusty Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate in Intensity 01. You can see I've hit pan on this one. I bought this nearly a year ago at Thanksgiving last year in San Francisco, and I'll be looking forward to replenishing my supply with a new one. Clearly, this is telling. I use the shade. I rarely use the Illuminate. Not because the illumination panel is not great, but because I typically carry a small highlighter with me, and this is obviously too large to tote around in your bag. So it just doesn't get as much utilization as I would prefer. I will use my Sephora angled brush, get a little bit of product, and then I'll suck my cheeks in and do what I do with this particular product. There you go. Instantly enhanced cheekbones and contour with just a very minimum amount of product. Before I move on to the eye area, I will go ahead and finish up this cheek zone. And I'm going to do that by applying a bit of Guerlain Four Seasons Terracotta Bronzer in 02 Natural Blondes. An old favorite that I rely upon heavily. Just a little bit to set the cream product and just give it a little more depth. Don't go crazy here. And then I will add a bit of the blush du jour for me, Marc Jacobs blush in Obsessed, which is just a luminous peachy pink. I only put it on the apples of my cheeks. You can see the difference here. Just adds a touch of color compared to this. Very ethereal glow, but nothing over the top. I'm not going for an ultra rosy look. So for brows, I'm going very simply, and that's typically my approach anyway. My brows are pretty natural. I don't pluck them in a crazy way. I only clean up this area and a little bit underneath. Don't get them waxed or threaded. Very low maintenance. I'm working with the YSL eyebrow pencil. I've used many of these in my makeup lifetime. This is called, it's number 3, and I can't remember, I want to say it's called Glazed Brown. Yes, but I've shaved it down past the name. Anyway, I'm just going to, you can see it's just a very faint, neutral ashy brown. Go ahead and just sweep it through my brow area to fill things in. I'm not applying a lot of pressure here because I feel like if you over apply brow product, if you press too hard, it's really hard to reverse unless you remove it entirely, and that's laborious. So I'm just going lightly, and then I'll use my spoolie end to brush it out. I find this is a perfect match for my brows for most of the year. My brows, incidentally, are much darker than my hair is naturally, so I just go with a slightly darker color. There's no point in me augmenting that. For eyes today, I'm going to go for the kind of light brown, slightly smoky, but not dramatic eye. I'm working with the Jouer powder eyeshadow. In this case, it's in Pecan, and this has a slightly warm, almost reddish pink undertone, but it's so restrained that it doesn't look strange. I'll be using my Sephora eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to apply this damp. So I'm actually going to just spray the brush so that the water is in the bristles already, and then just get some onto my brush here like this. Go over my lid. I like a pure, just single wash of color most of the time. Not particularly into layering and blending Probably because my time constraints for getting ready are always insanely limited and I'd rather sleep or something than blend multiple colors into my eyelid. As you can see, it's very subtle. It's almost like a fawn. Mink is the color I get when I think of this. There's just a little bit of pink or warm red. It's like a warm taupe. And then for the under eye region, I'm going to go very lightly. I've got this kind of precisely angled as a point now, and I'm just going to brush it under. Just a touch. To unify the eye. So very subtle. I don't want to put too much in the under eye region. Final products I'm going to add to this very simple eye is the Marc Jacobs Highliner. It's a gel crayon in Blacquer, which is impeccable along the lower waterline. And that's where I'll put it. It just glides on so nicely and creates beautiful contrast on the eye, and it stays put. The longevity is significant. Here you go, instant pop. And I will follow that up with some Giorgio Armani Eyes to Kill Excess Mascara. This is the darkest, most voluminous version of this mascara formula. There's the brush. It's got some little spikes that really embed the mascara deep into the roots of the lashes so you get great impact with a couple of coats. I liken it to the Chanel Le Volume formula, so in terms of overall appearance and outcome, they're very similar, but if you're not a fan of the Chanel Le Volume, you want to love it but you don't, and I know that it's a hit or miss with people, then this might be another option, or commensurate option for you to try. Before I put mascara on, I've been doing this trick lately. I put a little concealer that I don't blend in my under eye region. Just leave it like that. Today I'm working with the Giorgio Armani Maestro Eraser, which is a liquid concealer, and I wear number 4 for most of the year. And I'm just tapping it here. Now you may wonder, what's going on? Why am I not blending? But what I find works nicely is because if I'm in a rush, I put mascara on, and if I don't let it dry completely, then I get it in my under eye region. It's moving, it's migrating, it's no good. So I just put the concealer here, and then I'll apply mascara, and the concealer acts like kind of a buffer for any mascara that might be errant. A lot of communication going on in the hallway right now. Now that my mascara has been applied, I just did 2 coats of my upper and lower lashes. I'm going to take my ring finger and just blend this concealer in lightly. It's very emollient, so it's not creating any drag in my very delicate under eye area. I don't want to apply too much pressure there. And you can see I was able to move any smudges, like what you see right here, just away as the concealer is melding into the skin. This saves me from having to remove makeup or use makeup remover. It's kind of a dual purpose step, and I find that when you're in a rush and dealing with mascara, it is an extremely time-saving strategy. I am livid. Somehow, when I just filmed this last segment where I added lips, highlighter, and a little bit of setting powder, the movie clip just disappeared. I can't explain why that happened, but I don't know that I want to remove everything and put it back on again. That never bodes well. So I'm just going to explain what I just did. My apologies. I just added some highlighter to my brow bone area right across here and my upper cheeks using the Jouer cream eyeshadow in Chiffon, which is indeed, as the name implies, a cream eyeshadow, but I love it for a highlighter. It's compact and portable. It's got this beautiful sheen that doesn't look glittery or frosty. It just looks like really glowing skin, and so it's one of my favorite products that creates a glow. For lips, I added some Envyderm Lip Plumper, which is a new line that I've been learning more about, and I put it on as a base. This is Mauve, and it's basically clear. Looks like this has got this great paddle applicator put a little bit on my hand. You can see here, there's not a lot of color. It's both basically clear on the lips, but it is tingly. It does hydrate and fill out my lips, and it just feels amazing. It's not too sticky, and it makes an excellent base for the lip color to follow. Then I followed that up with one of my favorite lip colors ever, the Kanebo Sensai Vibrant Cream Lipstick in Uso Sakura, which is a very bright purple tinged or violet tinged pink. It's full coverage. I just put a single layer on my lips, and because it's a little bright, I wanted to tone it down for a more natural look. I added a bit of the Tom Ford Nude Vanille, or Nude Vanilla as I like to say. It's creamy and opaque, and when you combine it over the Kanebo Sensai, you get a more natural color, and that's what this is. I topped it off with the Tom Ford Ultra Shine Lip Gloss in Naked. I've bought this in multiples. It's my favorite shade of the range, which is a very creamy, neutral, pale nude, and it just positively enhances any lip color I put it over. Just put a little bit in the center of my lips for a nice balanced shine. So I don't feel like I need a lot of powder, but what I did do, albeit in the clip that didn't make it, was use my Chanel Kabuki brush to apply some Givenchy Teint Couture powder, which I have an entire video dedicated to both this and the liquid foundation in this formula. It's a new release from Sephora, and I'll be editing and posting that soon. But in the meanwhile, I've been using this powder. It's beautiful for touch-ups, and it's matte but glowing, and I just put some around my nose area, tiny bit up here in my T-zone, but I didn't want to remove the natural skin glow that I just created with my custom foundation formula. So I will keep this in my purse and use it for touch-ups throughout the day. And that concludes my easy daytime vacation look in cold weather tutorial featuring makeup products that I deemed the most important to have with me while traveling, since I had to fit them in a small quart-sized baggie and slip them into my carry-on. So a final close-up on my face. I truly am absolutely elated at the combination of the By Terry with the Ardency and Americana. The Sheer Expert just infinitely complements the concentration of the Ardency in, and the combination I know is going to be a favorite for me well beyond. I truly hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and as always, of course, I welcome your questions and your comments. I'm about to head out of this room to go find a highly caloric coffee drink to start off my day and go explore the beauty that is Lake Tahoe before my husband gets out of his meeting. Please don't forget to visit me at my beauty blog, Beauty Professor, which can be found at www.beautyprofessor.net. Take care.